I understand that there should be questions of concern for Oregon's run defense like we brought up, but I can't not pick Oregon as my team that I think is going to go on this national championship run. I have stood on every game this year for Oregon that whenever there's been spots where a certain position group or a certain facet of their game has not played up to expectation. I think of the Wisconsin game as a great midseason example where they could have dropped that game. They could have completely collapsed their momentum that they were building since the Ohio State win, but their defensive line stepped up. Against Penn State, their run defense was not playing well, and Tez Johnson in the passing attack, it stepped up, and they just flat out outscored them. They can win in so many different ways, and more specifically, they have very advantageous matchups against who they're going to square off with. Did they get a difficult potential first-round matchup against either Tennessee or Ohio State? Is that one of the more difficult situations? Absolutely. They got screwed over in that circumstance. But I think that they're too explosive for Tennessee to knock them off, and we already saw Oregon beat Ohio State, that I think that Oregon can beat them a second time. And then from there, they're good enough to beat Texas, and they're good enough to win in the national championship game. Having important playmakers at the most important positions is what makes Oregon such a legitimate threat. And I'm talking about Mateo Uiagalelei and Derek Harmon on their D-line. I'm talking about a Johnny Cornelius and Josh Connerly at both tackles, who only gave up one sack against Abdul Carter and company. I'm talking about Jordan James at running back, Tez Johnson at receiver. And of course, I'm talking about Dylan Gabriel, who is a fantastic player at quarterback. Every box is checked. They feel like they're the easiest answer to the question.
Okay, let me push back on that. Penn State just ran for 295 yards on them. Now, Oregon fans, let me start off by saying this. I love your football team. Please go watch our reaction to the Penn State game if you're watching this clip or whatever. I really like Oregon, and I agree with you. I think that they can go on a national title run. I'm with you. I really see that they can do it. You better hope Ohio State wins, because Tennessee's a very bad matchup for you. If Penn State can line up and run it on you, so can Tennessee. That's been their team. That's been their offense. Joe, I saw the around the 15th ranked rush defense in Georgia give up yards on the ground to Dylan Sampson. I've seen it. So I've seen them tested. I've seen them go on the road. I've seen them be in a hostile situation where they need to run the football, and it's what they do. Okay? You got a chink. And in week 8, Joe, you will remember we debated it. A couple weeks later, we started to agree on this after some things started happening with Oregon. In week 8, I came out and said, listen, man, your run defense is leaky. Every week, Oregon fans would keep coming back at us over and over again and saying, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And I said, like I told the Miami fans, you better hold on. I'm telling you, you better hold on. It's coming. And then Penn State goes out there and runs for 295 on them. The bottom line is teams that can line up and run the football on you will give you problems, because if they start off a game early and they can get a lead on you, God forbid they get a stop early against you and they can play time of possession and run the football. There's a way to beat this football team. Every team has a chink in their armor this year.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Oregon, and here's a preface. I have my bracket right here. Oregon is in it. Okay, in reference to the national championship game. I have Oregon in it. So to say that I don't like Oregon is going to be a lie. I have them in my national title game. But there comes a point for me that I do have a worry for them and what they've been doing in the running game the last 6 weeks.
I think those are fair criticisms, and to just close that out, no team's perfect. So you're right. You're right. What will catch them off guard is if they can't stop the run against Ohio State or Tennessee or against Texas. That is what it's going to come down to. They have the bodies, they have the D linemen to play better against the run. They just need to step up and actually play and perform better in those situations.
I swear to God, this isn't Tennessee. Take the T off the helmet. If I gave you the profile of the Tennessee team, it's what legitimately kept Boise in the game when they played. If we're being honest, it's what Penn State It's how Penn State got back into the game and sustained of being in the game on how many yards they ran on you. Take the T off the helmet. You're probably, if you got to that situation, would beat Tennessee, I'd pick you to beat Tennessee. Mm-hmm. The matchup is where it would concern me because they can run the football on anybody. They have shown that they can and will run the football on anybody. You got to get ready. All right.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.